Have you ever thought about making videos on any platform but yet too nervous to be talking in front of a camera? My name is Ariel, and we will dive deep on how to change your mindset and motivation to not care about others' thoughts and strive for your hard work in media content to make your goals come true. Hello everyone, my name is Ariel Morales. I'm here with my special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a fourth year student here at Cal State East Bay, and my name is Dane Lopez.
So this podcast is called Influencers Ball. So the main purpose is about what thought does a big influencer have to not be scared and commit to their own hobbies. We all see people all across the internet starting from the bottom and becoming a big influencer and having other people watch them throughout their thoughts. But yet, what can we learn from them so we can become just like them and not be scared about others' thoughts? So Dane, Dane, you said your name was?
Yes.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so currently I am, like I said, a fourth year student at California State East Bay. I'm currently in multiple extracurriculars activities. Currently at a frat called Tau Kappa Epsilon. Some of you may be familiar of that. And right now I'm focusing a lot on sustainability and honestly a lot on sustainable fashion.
Wow, thank you very much. So I can see that you actually wear like a lot of like fashion like clothes. So I want to ask you for my first topic is how did your journey into fashion begin?
All right. So my journey into fashion began when I got here around my high school time. I was experimenting a lot in masculine clothing or feminine clothing, and I kind of found a balance in between. I would say it's more of an androgynous style of clothing. And 2 years or so later, I was exploring more so collections from like Dior, Spring 2000, or fall summer 97 of Chanel. Those are the type of things, fashion icons that I followed, as well as other models. But the thing that really stuck with me is around 3 years ago, I discovered the amazing world of RuPaul's Drag Race, and that's where I started to really look into more about fashion and what I feel like my style would be.
Wow. Thank you, Dane. So have you always had like growing up, have you always had an idea like, wow, I really like fashion. Like I want to be a model or I want to do design. Like how did it like, did you always have this idea coming into like this world or like growing up?
No, I actually did not. Growing up, I was really passionate about becoming a cardiovascular surgeon. Um, but I find out that want was only given to me because of family pressure. But later, then I decided to pursue business as I want to have my own fashion business. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I think we did talk about it when I first met you, but that's
Yes,
really good.
yes.
This honestly goes into my second question was who were your early influencers growing up or your icon models or someone that you looked up to?
So, certain fashion icons like I looked up to, like I said, it would be RuPaul himself from RuPaul's Drag Race. Um, Violet Chachki is another big one. They inspired me to be almost very bold but still elegant with my fashion style. Another person that really pushed my boundaries would have to be Elton John. Elton John would be one of them, and Chanel herself, just Coco Chanel. Her fashion, a lot of my fashion is based on her, and she is just the person that I look up to and kind of where I want my brand to be in the future.
Wow, so you're really aiming for the stars here after you probably
Yeah.
get out of school, right?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so growing up, I'm gonna tell you about like growing up. Fashion has always been like around. I'm not gonna lie, it's even been 80s, 90s, like even probably even before we were born. What I would say, like what was your idea of like people getting into like a specific like fashion? For example, like let's say like people would always wear like all these nice Jordans and there was such an era and then people wearing Hollister but it died out. So like what did you think about all that area? Because it was going up for like Supreme was up and next you know nobody talks about it no more.
So I actually have a very interesting take on this. I think that fashion trends, fast fashion, like you said, Supreme, or like the really hyped up high top Jordans, at least back in my middle school, if you didn't have that, you were kind of seen as not really fashionable and kind of, and I hate to use the word bummy.
Hmm.
Um, but now I feel like it's coming in again to be seen as vintage, even though I don't think that is what vintage clothing stands for. And I really just think as the new generation is wanting to kind of hold on to the previous fashion, therefore they wanna it raises up during then and then it goes down in popularity and then when it's considered old, they wanna get it again because it's special. No one has it no more. Um, but in general, I think fashion trends are pretty short, and what you should follow is what is unique to you because that's what's gonna stay long in your wardrobe and be sustainable throughout your years.
Wow, really good. Honestly, you talking about like the middle school times of fashion, during that time for me, like I was a skater back then, so I would usually wear Vans or like having like all these like not really new Jordans because I didn't really have the money at the time, but it was like yeah, you're right. People would wear polo, and then the way they see you, they would like see that you're like whatever. But yeah, honestly, guys, like I said, my name is Ariel Morales, and this podcast is about influencers and their ideas, where we explore the ideas of how not to be nervous to fully want to commit to social media, or even talk about like your own hobbies that you have, and making it through the internet and showing your own passion. So this, I want to lead to like my third topic that I want to talk about here. So Dane, so what have you ever made like clothing yourself or like art design or anything?
I'm ashamed to say that I haven't fully constructed a garment of clothing. I have I have deconstructed other garments of clothing and repieced it together. Um, Another fun fact about me is I like going to concerts or raves. So what I did before was I deconstructed leather skirts, leather jackets, and pieced it up together to almost create a crop top and a mini skirt through for a rave. That's one of the few times that I've done it, and one of the more notable times. I think that was a very intriguing process for me as I didn't really know a lot about clothing construction and what goes into it and how it could fit properly. But I would love to try it more in the future. I do need to learn how to sew, but I think that can be done easily by anyone.
Wow.
So if you're afraid to
Hmm.
sew, put on a DVD, a YouTube video,
YouTube.
and just go for it.
But honestly, like after you said like you would go to raves, like honestly, what you just told me right now is like that I considered like a piece of design that you created. Do you, how do you feel about? Would you, is that something you would wear again and be like, this is like what I made throughout the internet or something?
I would wear it again. Well, a refined version of it, of course. You said through the internet, right?
Yeah, like hey, like this is my piece that I made here. Like it's gonna be this much, or like
Oh
would.
yeah, yeah. So I would do that, like I said, with the refined version of it. And yeah, eventually, honestly, I want to start at the beginning of my clothing career uh, to be selling my clothing online. Um, and I want to give easy access to those who doesn't really think that they have access to luxury clothing. But luxury doesn't mean to have the prices of clothing, but the quality of it. And I want to show that through my social media, whether through my future pieces, that it can just match up as well as to Celine, Dior, Louis Vuitton, even.
Mm-hmm.
But make that from thrifted items, the bins, because at the end of the day, it's clothes. It's one of the
No,
most
yeah, yeah,
unserious
yeah.
things.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's like nowadays the way I see fashion is that instead of like people wearing all this like Louis, Gucci, all these like expensive, because don't get me wrong, it is expensive, but now I'm starting to see like a pattern that now we're going back, or maybe not going back, but switching over to like eco thrift, like you said. Do you actually shop at eco thrift and make your own stuff?
Yes, oh my God. I actually, a little embarrassed to say this,
No, no,
but
don't be.
I go thrifting at least once a week, twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. Um, and I do pull a lot of clothing from the hangers from Eco Thrift. Savers is another example. But any other local thrift stores really. And what I like to do is find sometimes fabric or clothing that I don't think will fit me, um, and try to cut it up with my fabric scissors at home. Even though I didn't really, again, construct something new, I do like the materials that is given in a thrift store because other people with definitely more talent than me right now can definitely construct something way, way better. Um, but yeah.
That's really good. As and what I keep in mind is that no, like the way I see it's a work in progress. So obviously you don't want to think about oh this person's better than me. Like it's not gonna happen. Like no, no. I'm gonna say the way that you do your stuff, Dane. I actually support it and I really like it because from
Thank
what I
you.
see
Thank you.
from people in here in school, nobody really does that. Everybody here is just NPC. I said it before. But lastly, I just like to say like is there any words or like any motivations you want to tell people that want to be like you, like hey I want to be like Dane, he does his clothing, he wants to do this? Do you have any words for them?
Yeah. One of them is do not be afraid, which sounds so cliche, but you will not be able to express yourself if you are not in something that you feel comfortable in. Clothing, in my opinion, even though I said that it's unserious, that is because it shouldn't define who you are, nor come to a conclusion from others to who you are. Like I said, you should be wearing what is authentic to you and how you want to be perceived by the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're wearing something that is true to your heart, it will radiate that. And I think people will see your confidence and look up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And do not let fear of clothing, of not looking fashionable or not looking as polished as you may think, because if you let that fear happen, you might pass a chance of being the next fashion icon. So yeah.
That's really good, Dane. And to be honest, for my glass thing too, myself, I honestly had growing up too, like, like I said, I didn't really have like much fashion or much money to buy all this stuff, but I also used to like rock hand-me-downs. So from like, an older sibling down to like you, because we're not, well, especially my family, we're not like rich, wealthy like that, but we were passed down. And honestly, it's just like I should say like blessed, because that's something to say that hey, like I actually had things to wear, I had clothes to wear, which is honestly like that's like an okay thing, like not okay, but that's a good thing that at least you had something and people that love you.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, like I said, no matter what you are striving for or any hobbies that you are doing, we must know that whether you are just starting or already big on like what you're doing, there will always be people that will have their own opinion, whether it's negative or positive. But always remember, if you are too nervous to commit to something or your hobbies that you would like to do, you will understand that you will not improve in anything. Thank you so much, Dane, for being here, and this is over.